What's going on, guys? Welcome to Soniq Sounds, and today we are going to go through production as well as the mixing and mastering of my single Moving On. This track is a collaboration between me and my buddy who's a phenomenal guitarist, and I was able to get him on board with the track after I produced most of the track, and the vocals are from Splice. You can pretty much hear and see everything. You can see that it's not an exhaustive session, but picking the right sounds really will get you the results that you're looking for. So we'll go through track by track and go through the processing and then the final stage of mastering. And while you guys are watching this, if you have any questions, make sure to leave them below. Also, you can check out the full track after the video. I'll leave a link in the description as well. So let's hop into Logic Pro. All right, so now that we are in Logic Pro, this is pretty much the whole session. As you can see, I have about 35 tracks, everything from drums to synths and chops to bass line. Have a lot of vocal layers, and I have a really cool 3D vocal technique at the end. I can show you that as well, and if you need details on those, I can do another video on that as well. Here we have some loops as well as the killer electric guitar session and a few effects. So let me just play a bit of the track. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go into the verse, into the hook, and then a bit of the guitar. So let's play it. Here we go.
You see me crying, let me cry alone, 'cause now I'm moving on, yeah, I'm moving on without, 'cause now I'm moving on.
And here are the guitars. So that is pretty much what the track sounds like. If you need the track, I'll leave the link in the description. You can go and check out the track. All right, so let's go and start with the drums. Again, drums are super simple. Again, you can hear it right here. And I've pretty much just used Ultra Beat right here. Again, a boutique 808 kit that's built in right with Logic Pro, nothing else. Those are the only drums you hear in the track. So let's play the track without the drums and see what it sounds like.
Moving on.
And a simple pattern like that can actually make the track sound very different.
Moving on.
Great. So let's talk about the intro. I have these few chops that I used, and pretty much I wanted to build anticipation of something happening. So I used a lot of arpeggios. The track is in A minor. Again, this is a patch from Spire. Then I have some bells that are just sampled actually from a Cymatics Fantasy pack. I brought it in. I attached it to sampler. I let it optimize it. It tells you the key, which is great. And if you don't know how to use sound as samples, I'll leave a video on how you can do that in the cards right here. So again, let's hear these bells. And that pretty much carries into the track, and the chops go out once the vocals kick in. And then also I have a lead that is supporting that here as well. So all of that along with the synths right here in the verse, let me play those and then I can show you what the processing for these particular 5 tracks sounds like. So again, this is also another sample that is from Cymatics that I brought into the sampler. I'm also using the kickstart plugin right here, which pretty much ducks the sound right here at the beginning. So let's see what that sounds like. So Kickstart is a plugin that pretty much does side chaining and allows you to basically make the sound come in and out or make the sound throb a little bit. So here's the same sound without Kickstart enabled. And here it is with Kickstart. Now that is panned a bit to the left, and then I have a sound on the right. Now again, same thing here, sample from Cymatics right here, pan to the left and right, and as you can see, to get the stereo field, I've EQ'd both of the sounds a little bit differently. The one on the left has a bit of a low cut, and then the one on the right has a bit of a boost right here with a lot more of the left cut out. So let's listen to both of them together. So you can see that it builds a nice stereo field, and all of those synths all together sound like this. Now I haven't done really much with the EQ, but I have this Cashmere Essentials plugin that I use. I use the synth, and I'm pretty much adding a bit of presence, expanding the sound, and gluing it together. So again, compression, a bit of high-end EQ, again, compression, as well as some stereo expansion. So let's listen to this with and without Cashmere Essentials. So you can see this expand is doing a lot of magic on these synths, and alongside the drums, this is what it sounds like. Perfect. So now that we have both of those down, that pretty much repeats throughout the track. And then we have another arpeggio that comes in right here in the intro. So let's listen to this arp. Again, this is from Serum. This is what it sounds like. Now this is just to build the atmosphere. It is a sample called ARP Hollywood right here. I'm cutting out a lot of the high and the low end frequencies because it had a lot of things that I didn't need. So let's listen to it without and see what it sounded like. It had a lot of body if I were to use it by itself, but I already had a bunch of synths layered on the top, and I really just needed that middle to be filled. So I cut out everything that I didn't need. I have the bass right here. This is the Liverpool bass, and this is what it sounds like. I didn't change anything, but as you can see that I have a kickstart plugin here again to make it throb with the 4 on the floor kick that I have. Now this is going to a bass bus that is controlling the pretty much all the high end is gone. I'm filtering out a lot of frequencies using volume shaper. So again, this is kind of side chaining it a bit more. And then I'm using Neutron 3. And I love this plugin because you can just hit mix assist and it will make your sound sit in the track. So that is pretty much what the synth and all these different tracks right here sound like. So let's listen to it with the bass and the arpeggios and the synths. All right, and then you can see that right here, right after the guitars end, I have some more synths. So let's play this keys. Again, this is from the Triton plugin. Just simple keys. Again, I took out a lot of the low end. I didn't need that and boosted some frequencies. Then I have muted guitars right from Logic Pro. Just to give it a pulse, and then I have the same thing copied over in an electric piano. But I've increased the length of that so it sounds different and more full. Again, bass, keys, same type of elements playing. So again, this is pretty much the track minus the guitars. And this is when it comes in handy when you have friends who can play some really, really nice instruments, because this is pretty much the track without the vocals and the electric guitar. Now let's jump into the electric guitar and then we'll go into the vocals synth after. So I received just 2 tracks of electric guitars already comped processed. So I really had to do very little to this. I pretty much took the lead as well as pretty much the strokes or the chords that I received. I added Stereo Tool to give it, widen it a little bit. I added Soothe to clean out the sounds a little bit and make them less harsh. I did that on both of them. And as well as I added a bit of EQ and also the beloved CLA guitar plugin just to add some reverb and delay. And same thing here, I added the Empirical tool, the Empirical Labs mic E compressor right here as well to make the sound a bit dirty, and that's only for the lead. So let's see what the guitar lead sounds like. So that is a guitar lead, and let's see what the guitar chords and the backing track sounds like. Simple stuff that pretty much supports the track. Arpeggios. So now let's go and play the track, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna mute the vocals for now so we can hear the track for what it is. And I'm gonna play just that part with the guitars muted, and you can see the difference it makes. This is no guitars. And this is with guitars. It really adds an element of pretty much organicness to the track. And then right here, as far as the effects goes, pretty simple stuff. I have a reverse vocal that comes here. And then a crash, and then a reverse swell right here as well. So that's what this sounds like. All samples from Splice. Again, the vocal themselves are from Splice as well. So let's just play the vocal by itself. And this is pretty much the vocal. I did not have these two plugins. I'm going to mute them.
I don't need saving. Could you leave me alone?
And pretty much to clean that up, I have this 4020 EQ that I got from Mic DSP for 30 bucks. Phenomenal plugin, really adds some magic to the vocals. Again, a bit more EQ just to carve out some mid frequencies right here. Again, soothe to de-ess the vocals. Then we have Pro Q3, and here I'm just taking out a bit of the frequencies using the multiband function to carve out a bit of 4200, and then I have another de-esser on top, and then we will go through all my sends a little later on, and then let's go through all the other vocal tracks now. Now this is just an effect to fill it in right before the hook comes in. So this is the same vocal, I just copied it over. This is what it sounds like.
Let me cry alone.
And all of that is coming from Effect Rack from Sound Toys. Pretty much use this basic vintage punch preset right here.
Let me cry alone.
Now all of this is going to the same vocal bus right here that we just talked about, and then comes the hook. So this is what the hook sounds like. Let's listen to this.
Moving on, moving on. Yeah.
Now I have this pretty cool plugin. It's called Stereoizer by I don't even know. I think it's called Plug and Mix is pretty much the company that makes this. But let me enable this and you can see the difference it makes.
Moving on, moving on. Yeah, I'm moving on without you.
You can see that it makes things really, really wide. I normally don't use this plugin. I just happen to use it for this vocal and it sounds really good. Again, I have another set of backing vocals right here. This is what they sound like. And when you layer them,
Moving on, moving on. Yeah, I'm moving on without. 'Cause now I'm moving on.
use the same vocal, repeated that, and then we have the verse right here.
You hold me close, tell me that you can read my mind.
And then at the end, I am using this spectral 3D kind of a sound effect right here. So let's zoom into it. If you have some headphones, I suggest you go get them because this is probably going to blow your mind. And if you are listening on speakers, you're probably not going to be able to hear it. So let's play this and see if you can hear things kind of moving around different sides of the headphones.
Moving on, moving on. Yeah, I'm moving on without. 'Cause now
Now let me solo that and play that for you. So now that's just the effect. Now I only used this in the last chorus because I really wanted that powerful kind of a psychedelic experience for the last chorus, and you can really hear it. And the way I did that was to use this Dear Reality plugin by Sennheiser, and you can pretty much control this and automate this, and it will make the sound go around the headphones. So that is pretty much what the track was like. Now let's go through some of my buses that I'm using. For the long reverb, I have the Verb Suite Classics by Waves. I really like this preset at 2.7 seconds. So I use that. Fat Filter Pro to kind of cut the highs and lows. And then I also have the H delay, a simple quarter note delay. And then I also have a slap delay right here, which is 72 milliseconds right here. And I also have a doubler that I'm using. Again, I'm using Little Micro Shift number 3 right here, completely wet. Love what this does. And then I also have a very short reverb right here that I use every now and then. Again, Verb Suite Classics. Another reverb I really like is the EOS 2, and I use it on some synths, and only reason I like it is because it has a very, very long tail that actually sounds good to the ears. I'm trying to find the track I used it on at the beginning. It was one of the synth tracks right here. Right here. This is the one. So let me play these bells without EOS and with EOS. That's the tail. Let's listen to it without. And here's the reverb. So that is pretty much the track. And then let's quickly go through the mastering. Again, a simple EQ just to cut down anything below 40. I like doing that. A virtual tape machine to get a bit of the analog girth to the sound. One of my favorite plugins, the Golfaz. This plugin basically tames the frequencies that would be harsh and recovers anything that it feels needs to be recovered. Again, Soothe, I absolutely love this plugin. It makes everything sound magical. And then I have the VSC2 compressor right here that's going to do a little bit of compression. Then we have the Pro Q3 right here. Pretty much everything under 200 is being mono, and then everything else is pretty much stereo. And then I have a bit of a control right here at 4K. This is a preset called Mix Deharsh at 4K. And then we have the Oxford inflator to kind of get some of those harmonics in, get the song louder. And then finally the Pro L2. So that's pretty much what the master chain looks like. Now I also like using Insight 2 to just kind of get an insight on what the mix sounds like. So when you listen to it, I usually try to aim for -8 at the highest part of the song. So I use this to monitor that, and I also have SonarWorks in my studio when I'm listening from my monitors, as well as real phones if I'm using my headphones to control the sound and see what it sounds like in different environments. And this is also a great plugin if you don't want to spend money on something like the Slate VSX. So look at the Soniq real phones, fairly affordable plugin. So that was my track, Moving On. If you guys want to hear it, like I said, the link is in the description below. If you have any questions about the plugins and the techniques I used, feel free to discuss them below as well. Ask away down there as well. If you guys also want to ask questions and talk to the community, we have a private Facebook community page as well that is linked in the description as well. And thank you to everyone that's been subscribing. We're almost hitting 5,000 subscribers, and at 5,000 I am giving away a condenser microphone. So if you haven't subscribed, you're new, make sure to do that and like the video, share the video, and until then, keep making some dope music. I'll see you at the next one.